Oh, see. Senor Navarro will be pleased. His shipment from the lab has finally arrived. I should take it to the workshop, as Senor Navarro asked. Excuse me, Senor Navarro. The delivery you were expecting is here.
Marvelous. Joaquin, is everything in order?
Yes, the entire shipment has been delivered, although the pilot took off quickly due to the rain.
And the thermal box, has it come through unscathed?
It seems to be in great condition.
Superb. Could you please put the thermal box on the desk for me?
If you don't mind my asking, senor, what's inside?
Seedlings of a prototype flower we've been working on at the Navarro Labs. They've come all the way from our Mumbai branch.
Dios mío, from the other side of the world. All that effort for a few seedlings. Why?
These seedlings have the capacity for unparalleled healing. If we succeed, they could revolutionize healthcare.
So, the flower's potential isn't certain?
Not at present, but we're nearing a breakthrough. After years of genetic modification, we're at a decisive juncture. All that's left is to grow the flower to fully test its attributes. In the lab, we call this flower Miraculous.
Miraculous? Is that related to the Plinius project?
Miraculous is the result of the Plinius project. Joaquin, how do you know about that project? Have we spoken about it before?
Actually, senor, I overheard you talking with a scientist during my flora consultancy at your lab in Venezuela. I didn't mean to pry.
Don't worry about it, Q. Curiosity is natural. Now, would you mind sharing what you heard?
Only something about the miraculous and gene extraction from Andean nightshade?
Ah, yes. Nightshade played a vital role in Project Plinius. Even on its own, its anti-inflammatory properties could be a lifesaver. Now just imagine its incredible potential when combined with other healing properties.
Project Plinius really does sound special.
It is. I just wish I could have shared more about it with you before. But it was crucial to maintain secrecy during the early stages of the project to avoid any leaks to our competitors. However, those days are behind us, so please feel free to ask me any questions you have right now.
Could you tell me why the project was named Plinius?
Have you ever heard of Pliny the Elder? His Latin name was Plinius. He was a natural philosopher during the days of the Roman Empire.
A student of nature.
Exactly. The same as you, Q. Plinius wrote the Historia Naturalis, arguably the first global catalog of medicinal plants in science. He was truly ahead of his time.
To be honest, senor, Plinius sounds a lot more like you than me.
It appears we both have something in common with Plinius. Wouldn't you agree? In recognition of Plinius's timeless influence on humanity, I named my work after him with the goal of saving lives, not using thousands of medical plants, but with just a single one. A flower possessing the combined healing properties of numerous others.
Can you share the secret behind cultivating such a remarkable flower?
The secret is gene modification. We began with 2 medicinal flowers, designating one as the DNA donor and the other as the host. We then used bacteria that are naturally capable of transferring the donor's DNA to the host they infect. And with each successful crossbreed, we ascended closer to the apex, the ultimate medicinal flower, the Miraculous.
That's incredible! What sort of capabilities do you think this flower might have?
If we manage to unlock its full potential, the miraculous could detoxify and regenerate body cells, and even heal conditions as profound as blindness and deafness.
Sounds like the miraculous is truly capable of performing miracles, senor. Have you brought it to Esperanza to start testing its capabilities?
Unfortunately, no. We're struggling with growing the prototype, as it never blossoms. The thermal box you brought contains the last seedlings from the original batch.
I don't understand, senor. Why bring the miraculous here, then?
As a final attempt, I decided to try cultivating it here on Isla Esperanza. Together with you, Q, we will nurture it so that it flowers.
Senora, I doubt I'm the right fit for this task.
Nonsense, Q. You're the most skilled floral expert I've ever known. If anyone can make the miraculous flower, it's you.
I appreciate your trust in me, but what happens if we're unsuccessful?
Then, Navarro Labs will have to re-engineer the flower pairings. It would take another year to recreate a prototype of this caliber. Do you understand the weight of our task here?
Absolutely, senor.
So, can I rely on you?
It would be my honor.
That's the spirit, Q. Then what are we waiting for? Let's take a look at those seedlings.
Oh no, poor babies.
What's going on, Q?
All this traveling has really damaged the seedlings.
Let me see them. We need to replant them now.
We can grab my tools from the greenhouse and head straight to the jungle.
Hold on, Joaquin. Aren't we planting them inside the greenhouse?
You previously mentioned that the flower wouldn't bloom under controlled conditions. We shouldn't repeat the same mistake.
But due to the morning rain showers, the soil is too damp. The seedlings could end up waterlogged. We should keep them in the greenhouse for now, where they're safe.
With all due respect, planting them in the greenhouse will only kill the seedlings faster. They need Mother Nature.
We don't have time for this.
Senor, rest assured, I will prevent the seedlings from drowning.
How will you do that?
The rain has come and gone for most of the morning. As soon as the weather calms down, we'll replant the seedlings using the dry soil we've stored in the greenhouse.
And if the rain comes back?
I know places in the jungle where the seedlings will be sheltered from the rain. Certain trees in those areas also absorb a lot of water, keeping the soil mostly dry. Please, trust me to do what I do best, senor.
Okay, Q. I've expressed my faith in your abilities before, and I stand by it now. As soon as the weather improves, we'll take the seedlings outdoors.
I won't let you down. I should grab everything we need before Senor Navarro finishes preparing for the hike. Better put all the tools into the wheelbarrow. All done. Senor Navarro should be here at any moment.
Regrettably, Q, the rain doesn't appear to be stopping anytime soon.
Actually, senor, the storm will soon pass. We just need a little patience.
What makes you so certain?
The clouds are gradually shifting. The westerly wind will bring in some lighter clouds before long.
You might be onto something.
It won't be much longer now.
Very well. We'll wait.
Senor, if the miraculous blooms, what do you intend to do with it?
Once we've procured the medicine, it will need to be tested and approved by the government. Then we'll distribute it to people in need all around the world.
If only Camilla had had access to the miraculous back then.
You seem upset, Q. Is everything all right?
Forgive me. I just remembered a friend. Someone the miraculous flower could have saved.
Were they close to your heart?
See, someone very dear. It's been a while since I've delved into those bittersweet memories. Life in Venezuela was certainly not a walk in the park. But it had its moments of joy.
If you feel like sharing, I'd love to hear more about it.
Sure, senor. We do have some time to kill after all. My roots trace back to a small village, a place of unmatched beauty. That's where I spent most of my early life.
Oh, I'd assumed you'd always lived in the city where we met. What made you leave your village?
Nature, as beautiful as it is, can also be unrelentingly brutal. A hurricane swept through and laid waste to our entire village. We were left with no choice but to gather what remained of our belongings and leave. I was just 8 when we started the new life in the city.
Such a big change at a young age. Adjusting to city life must have been tough.
The city was a stark contrast to our village, senor. We had no land for growing food, and not enough money to buy it either. Not to mention all the people and buildings. It was suffocating.
Sounds like a real culture shock.
It was quite an adjustment for me, but my parents managed better. My mother started a flower shop in our modest home, and my father found employment as an expert on flora. As soon as I was of age, I followed in my father's footsteps.
And how are your parents doing now, by the way?
The generous pay you offer me greatly contributes to their well-being.
I'm glad they're doing fine, Q. But your pay isn't me being generous. It's a recognition of your worth.
That's kind of you to say, senor. Still, I never fully understood why you chose me for the position at... The job here, of course.
The island needed someone with a deep love of nature to look after it. During your time at Navarro Labs, I saw that affection for nature, combined with a deep understanding and attentiveness. I'm not sure if the folks at Navarro Labs ever told you how valuable your help truly was.
I wasn't aware that my work had had such an impact.
Of course it did, because passionate people like you can transform the world around them. And I strive to keep such people close. Joaquin Diaz, your astonishing professional competence and personal qualities are why you're here. Don't ever forget that.
Thank you, senor.
I also have no doubt you'll do your best to tend to the miraculous.
I'll give it my all. I only hope that if the miraculous flowers, its medicine will reach everyone who needs it. Especially those residing in the secluded parts of Venezuela.
Are you talking about those dreadful disease outbreaks?
Yes. Too many lives have been claimed already.
The friend you spoke of earlier, were they one of the victims? You're under no obligation to share, but I have personally experienced how bottled up grief can erode you from the inside. A conversation can sometimes lighten the weight on your shoulders.
I miss her.
What was her name?
Camilla.
Seems like the rain is subsiding.
Then it's time to go, senor.
Agreed. But once we're done replanting the miraculous, I'd be honored to hear more about Camilla. Now, lead the way, Q.
This storm came out of nowhere. I hope the seedlings will be okay.
Let's talk once we're safely back in the mansion.
Senor!
I've got you.
Honestly, senor, I'll be okay. We need to head back to the seedlings.
What we need is to confirm you have no fractures, Q. Once this storm subsides, Dr. Gonzalez will be flown in.
There's really no need for her to make the trip. I'm fine.
Q, your injury might be severe. You need to rest.
I'll rest after we've ensured the safety of the seedlings, senor.
Joaquin, the chances of them surviving such a storm are extremely slim. It's unfortunate, but no one could have predicted this.
We can't abandon them. They are still alive, senor.
Regardless, you're in no state to go back there.
If they don't survive the storm, what then?
Chances are they're already dead. I suppose I should notify the lab to restart the gene modification process from the beginning. We'll have another opportunity to plant the miraculous in a year's time.
I urge you to reconsider, senor. Please let me inspect the seedlings first.
You really are stubborn, aren't you?
I can't help it, senor. I just believe they still have a fighting chance.
Maybe they do, Q. Reaching the seedlings now is far too risky. I'll inspect them once the storm has passed, and you'll stay here and recuperate.
Thank you, senor. I'll put my faith in Mother Nature's judgment until then.
Good. But it will be some time before the storm passes. Perhaps you'd like to resume where we left off and tell me about your friend, Camilla.
Camilla and we'd been together for almost 6 years. We were in love. I planned on proposing. I even got a ring. Then fate intervened. Camilla was dispatched as a humanitarian aid worker during the yellow fever outbreak. Unfortunately, they weren't able to contain the first wave of the epidemic. That vile disease took the lives of all the aid workers, including Camilla.
My condolences, Joaquin. It sounds like Camilla was truly a kind soul.
She was inspiring. Camilla kept helping everyone until her last breath, senor. Her last breath. A tragedy like that should never happen to anyone. So I can't help but wonder. Maybe, just maybe, the miraculous could help avoid such disasters.
I can't promise it will, but it is certainly possible.
The possibility that it will save lives is all I need. I'll make sure the miraculous blooms, senor.
Just be prepared, Q. The seedlings might not survive the storm.
I have faith they will. I'm sure Mother Nature will protect them.
Huh. I guess Joaquin was right.
Senor Navarro and I were optimistic after the seedlings survived the storm. I spent the following months tending to them. All the miraculous flowers grew strong and healthy. After 8 long months, one of the miraculous flowers finally bloomed. It was beautiful and radiant. I'll take the miraculous to the workshop. Senor Navarro will be happy it has bloomed. Senor Navarro, I've brought the fully grown miraculous.
I still can't believe it has finally flowered. May I? I was wrong for ever doubting you, Q.
Water under the bridge, senor.
No, I should have put more faith in you. It's thanks to your hard work that we can finally process the medicine and start the initial tests.
How long before the medicine is ready for distribution?
Well, there are a good few years ahead of us. First, we'll need to do an internal analysis of the synthesized medicine. If all seems fine, we'll then proceed with more rigorous testing, starting with isolated cells, then animals, and finally humans. It'll be a long journey with lots of hurdles on the way.
Is there anything else I can do to help?
Cultivating and taking care of the miraculous is more than enough.
Senor, I can do more, if you let me.
Q, you've been pushing yourself relentlessly for the past 8 months. Perhaps it's time you took a breather. A vacation might do you good.
I can't, senor. The flowers need my attention.
Rest assured, the flowers will be well cared for. I'll arrange for one of the gardeners from Navarro Labs to step in while you're away. Just make sure to instruct them about the finer points of tending to the miraculous.
I hope they're up to the task. The miraculous needs a delicate touch.
I'm sure they'll rise to the occasion.
Well, in that case, maybe a vacation won't hurt. But everything back home reminds me of Camilla. I'm not sure if I'm ready to face it.
That's something you'll only discover once you're back.
Perhaps. Every time I think of Camille, the pain's still there, as fresh as ever.
You should remember her with pride, not sorrow. Her deeds were inspiring.
You're right. I can't keep running away from my feelings forever.
Good. I'll schedule some cover for you as soon as possible.
Thank you, senor. I won't keep you any longer. But before I go, I wanted to say that no matter what, I really believe in the miraculous.
Thank you, Q. I only hope that our commitment doesn't go unrewarded, and that the miraculous fulfills its potential.
I have no doubt it will. The flower, after all, is your creation.
It's not mine. It's ours. Behind the creation of the miraculous are both the brilliant minds and the passionate people who took such good care of it. And its medicine could one day become our legacy to humankind. Welcome to Isla Esperanza, Georgiana. I trust you had a pleasant journey.
Thank you, Mr. Navarro. The trip was all right. Just a bit wobbly. Truth be told, the luggage took quite a beating. I'm a bit concerned that the gift I brought you might not still be in one piece. I need my key.
Is everything all right?
I think I've lost the key to my luggage.
Oh, well, why don't we go look for it? If you dropped it somewhere on the island, I'm sure we can find it.
Don't be silly, Mr. Navarro. Who knows how long that might take? All I need is a couple of minutes and a bobby pin. Feels like I've walked right into a construction site. Feels like I... I doubt... Georgiana.
That's lovely, Georgiana.
I figured you'd appreciate a little reminder of London.
Thank you. In my college days, I used to call my family from a booth just like this. I'll be sure to find a nice place for it.
I hope it'll suit this fancy mansion. Has it been your residence for long?
Getting close to 8 years now. As you can see, the place needs urgent renovations. A massive storm hit us a couple of weeks ago. It caused some serious damage. Thankfully, the renovations are due to be completed next month. Right on time to welcome our guests.
Who are you expecting?
Famous celebrities and scientists, to mention a few.
Wow. Sounds like a fancy dinner party.
Oh no, nothing that extravagant.
I'll make sure I'm up to speed with my duties by then. Can't have you looking shabby in front of the guests, after all.
No need to put so much pressure on yourself, Georgiana. Take...
Why is he so kind to someone like me? Seems too good to be true. Oh, don't you worry, Mr. Navarro. I do my best work under pressure. For me, it's just a matter of being prepared. So, how many guests are we expecting?
At this stage, only Dr. Catherine Bennett and Janet Lim have confirmed their attendance.
Wait, are we talking about Dr. Cat, the astrophysics scientist, and Miss Lim, the novelist?
Indeed. They are among my dearest friends.
Oh my. Some of the most influential people of the year will be visiting us. How exciting. Do you mind if I ask you? How did you know Dr. Cat? I've been a big fan since her show aired last year.
Well, Catherine and I met at the planetary conference a couple of years ago. As a fan of her theories, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to say hello when I saw she was attending the event.
Is she as lovely in real life as she is on TV?
To my surprise, yes. Catherine is friendly and humble. Traits that are not often seen in many celebrities. We had a lovely chat, too. But I was saddened to hear about the situation with her project.
Oh my. Was everything all right?
Catherine had been struggling to get funding for her solar sail design. All her theories were greeted with derision and disbelief by the scientific community.
Really? It's hard to believe Dr. Cat went through something like that. I'd always presumed she carried substantial weight within scientific circles.
That wasn't the case back then. Catherine had yet to prove her theories right. I recognized the immense potential in her work and felt compelled to offer my financial support. She politely refused. It wasn't funding Catherine was after, but recognition from her peers, which she eventually earned on her own merit. Catherine reminded me a lot of myself back then. Maybe that's the reason we're such good friends now.
I can't wait to meet her in person. She really sounds like my sort of gal.
I'm sure Catherine...
Marvelous. I look forward to the party. But I'm a bit worried, Mr. Navarro. Won't your guests mind someone like me cleaning their rooms?
They trust my judgment and know that I only hire people I have faith in. Besides, you've already paid your debts to society.
Paid in full, plus extra, if you ask me.
I imagine your time spent locked away was a harsh experience.
That was the most wicked time I have ever experienced. The mark prison left on me is something that I'll never forget.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Don't get me wrong, Mr. Navarro. I deserved that punishment. I just hoped for a fresh start after prison, but it wasn't that simple. People tend to dwell on the past.
It's irrational how society can often be less forgiving than the law itself.
Oh, people didn't care if I'd already paid for my wrongdoings. The judgment never stopped. No one would give me a job. Yet everyone called me a layabout for not working. A paradox, if you ask me. It was only thanks to my sister that I managed to get a housekeeping position at the Anglican boarding college. But even that didn't last long.
Because of him, right?
Yes, Nigel Warren. That scoundrel blackmailed me into resigning and going to work for him instead.
Such a rotten individual. I can't forgive him for what he did to you and my employees.
So many have suffered at the hands of that monster. It was such a relief when I finally got away from him. I guess I owe that to you, Mr. Navarro. There's no need for secrecy. I know it was you who freed me from Nigel's grasp.
After what you did for me, Georgiana, I felt obliged to.
Please, that's nothing compared to whatever miracle you had to pull off to get me out. I bet it's quite a story, though. I'd love to hear it one day.
Why not today? But it would be better if we continued our conversation inside. Before we continue, would you like some tea, Georgiana?
Yes, please. Mind if I help myself?
Be my guest.
Shouldn't... Now let's...
Now, back to what we were discussing. How much do you know about your former employer?
More than I'd like to. I was forced to manage some of the fronts of his despicable business. I was tasked with overseeing all the drug smuggling to London. And I fetched the profits from his shady partners. I even shook down local businesses for him.
I'm afraid that the rackets you were involved in were only a small part of Nigel Warren's business. His influence goes much further than the streets of London.
That makes sense.
Warren had a hand in schemes to extort huge corporations around the country. My company didn't elude his greedy fingers either. He demanded a hefty sum for security fees to ensure the safety of my shipments.
And did you give in to his offer?
Of course not. I'd already tarnished my company's legacy enough by striking shady business deals in the past. Never again. But refusing Nigel Warren came with a price. A price not worth paying. At least not with the lives of my employees. Last month, I suffered the consequences of my choices. The drivers who were killed were called Rob Mitchell and David Charles. Both were young and full of potential.
It was all over the news. It's so sad to see when such young men die.
The police concluded their deaths were an accident. I couldn't believe that.
When Nigel is involved, cases don't stay open for long. The police have been in his pocket for years.
Since no one would lift a finger against him, I decided to bring Warren to justice on my own. I had to hit him where it hurt most. His international money laundering network.
Was that part of his larger schemes?
Yes. Warren managed the offshore accounts of many organized crime top dogs. My team and I uncovered most of the trail of their dirty money. There was enough evidence to put Warren's entire network in jeopardy.
So, what did you do with it?
I confronted the businessmen Warren was laundering money for and threatened to expose their operations.
The fact that you're still breathing is nothing short of astonishing, Mr. Navarro. You don't mess with that kind of people without consequences.
In case something happened to me, I had loyal employees who were ready to publish the evidence. I, however, was willing not to leak my findings on one condition. Nigel Warren had to confess to murdering my employees in public. How his clientele would make that happen was left up to them.
I doubt anyone can convince Nigel to do that.
Convince him? Perhaps not. But coercing him, on the other hand.
Are you suggesting those people would have gone after Nigel's head if he'd refused?
That would have been the most logical outcome. Warren ran their entire money laundering network. He was their biggest liability. If he talked, it would be more than just their operation that would go down.
Sounds like you extorted Nigel's clients. There's no doubt he deserved it. But I would never have expected that from a respectable citizen like you.
I did what was necessary to put that murderer behind bars.
So, has Nigel confessed to murdering your drivers?
He did, last night, while you were on the plane.
Oh my! Finally, that animal will get what he deserves. I hope he rots in prison.
So do I.
Now it makes sense why he was so ticked off at the Royal Gala dinner last week.
I met Warren that night to talk about his client's demands. You should listen to your clientele, Nigel.
Look at you, Navarro. You sound like a puppy yelping. You have no place among the big dogs. So, be a good pup, and don't pick a bone with me. Or I'll have 100 more of your people buried.
You don't scare me, Warren. Expect to see your name in the headlines tomorrow morning.
You think you can threaten me, boy? Me? I'll teach you some respect.
Pull yourself together, you savage.
Know your place!
Go ahead. Do it again. Let the cameras get a good shot this time.
Consider yourself lucky, Navarro. We're leaving.
After that night, I couldn't allow myself to leave you at his mercy. I pushed Warren's clientele not just to draw a confession out of him, but also to secure your immediate release. It didn't take him long to come knocking at my door. In return for my silence, he confessed and set you free.
So that's why he let me go, after so long. It was a relief when Nigel said I was officially out of the family business.
Family?
My late father's birth name was Robert Warren. He was Nigel's cousin. Which makes Nigel a relative of mine.
I had no idea.
That's why Nigel was forcing me to work for him. He wanted to keep the family together. What a joke.
That's hardly surprising, given Nigel's twisted mentality.
As my dad used to say, you can't choose your family.
Was Robert involved in any of Warren's dirty businesses?
A long time ago, but thankfully, Dad walked away from it. Otherwise, my mother never would have married him. Having a crook for a husband was too shameful for her. Mum could be awfully strict, to say the least.
And did your parents succeed in cutting ties with your father's family?
I wish they had. Dad even changed his surname to avoid being associated with his relatives. But they kept trying to pull him back into their nest of vipers. Throughout my childhood, Nigel and the others repeatedly showed up at our doorstep. They used to offer my dad money and expensive gifts, expecting to win him over. Their visits used to trigger old memories. Memories of the man he used to be. A man he hated. Whatever my father had done in the past haunted him. It resurfaced each time his relatives showed up. He never talked about it. Instead, He chose the comfort of a pub and downed pints to drown his sorrows. It sent shivers down my spine when he stumbled in through the door each night, shouting out loud.
I hope he wasn't abusive.
My father was a mess, but he never laid a finger on his family. He was punishing himself for his past actions, not us. Although that caused his drinking to spiral out of control.
Did Robert ever overcome his issues?
Only years later, after being sent to prison. Unfortunately, he had to get locked away to sober up. Quite sad, if you ask me.
How old were you when your father wound up in jail?
I was only 9, but my sisters, Clemency and Mildred, were even younger. None of us were ready to face the world without a father, but somehow we managed. By the time he was released, I was already 13. By that point, we didn't need him anymore.
Robert never reached out to you after getting out of prison?
Oh, he tried, but none of us wanted to see him. We resented him. A father is supposed to protect his family, not leave them with nothing. It took us a long time to forgive Dad, unlike our mother, who never did. He stopped existing to her the moment he got locked up.
Well, as harsh as it sounds, she must have had her reasons to give up on your father.
However, she had neither the right nor any justification to project her hatred for him onto us, his daughters. At first, it was merely a slap for every harmless error we committed. But it eventually escalated. Her beatings grew in frequency and intensity. I don't know if she saw it as discipline or merely as a release for her pent-up emotions. But it was clear that Mum had gone off the rails. She'd become unrecognizable.
That all sounds horrible, Georgiana. Do you think any of it has affected how your life has turned out?
To a certain degree, yes, but the wrong decisions I made were mine alone. As a teenager, I was invited to join a gang and was stupid enough to accept.
The world of crime has its allure. I saw many of my childhood friends give in to its temptations. They were only seeking better lives, but all they did was waste their futures.
Sounds familiar. Back then, I dreamed of joining a local gang. They seemed to have it all. Fancy clothes, posh food, and luxurious flats. I wanted what they had. But everything comes at a cost. By joining the gang, I lost my family. My mum, she disowned me. I stopped existing to her just like my father did.
Did you ever try to reconnect with her?
I didn't bother. To that heartless woman, I was nothing but a failure. Or, in her own words, a rotten apple she wanted nowhere near her good daughters. That was pretty high and mighty for someone who used to send her children to beg for money.
Despite your mother's shortcomings, she was still family. It must have been hard being kicked out of your own home.
I wasn't ready to leave the nest, that's for sure. The hardest part was saying farewell to my sisters. It felt like I was losing a part of myself. But at the time, being away from Clemency and Mildred was for the best. I never wanted to be a bad influence on them. I hoped life would get better once I'd grown up. Oh, how naive I used to be. Things only got worse. I had no joy in my adult life, except for my short-lived marriage.
Your husband's name was Benjamin, right? He came up a couple of times in your police report.
My Benny. He and I had joined a street gang around the same time. We were both teenagers when we met. Two foolish kids who grew up together around the wrong people. But by the time we reached 25, Ben and I were tired of that life. We decided to get married and have a small ceremony, just the two of us. I wouldn't have had it any other way, though. It was perfect.
So, you and Benjamin walked away from your gang?
We did. And after our wedding, we hoped to lead a peaceful life in the countryside. But we needed money for a fresh start. It was our attempt to acquire some that got us arrested.
Your police report mentioned you were incarcerated for drug possession.
Well, things went sideways. We'd hoped that my father's family could spare us some cash. They were pretty well off. Instead, we got a batch of drugs. Nigel insisted that if you want something, you have to earn it. Ben and I could sell his product and keep the profits, as long as we gave him his commission. But dealing drugs is a risky business. There was this goon who went after us and caused a ruckus. It caught the attention of the police, and we were arrested.
What happened afterward?
Ben and I were sent to different prisons, but even while separated, we had each other's backs. We kept in touch by writing to each other. His words alone were enough to get me through the first months in prison. But one day, the letters just stopped coming. Deep in my heart, I knew something had happened. And my fears were confirmed when I got a visit from a prosecutor. Ben had been killed in prison.
My condolences, Georgiana.
Thank you for your kind words. I could have done with more of those back then. Back then, I was even robbed of any peace to grieve for my late husband. The other inmates made sure of that. It was truly my darkest hour.
Did you have anyone to support you during that time?
I wrote to Clemency and Mildred. I needed support. Someone, anyone to talk to. But I never received a reply from them. At the time, I didn't understand why they'd abandoned me. I only found out much later that the letters had never reached them. My mother had been hiding them from my sisters. For most of her miserable life, that woman clung to the fear that I might somehow corrupt her good daughters. She hadn't changed one bit. Still the same heartless witch who disowned me for joining a gang.
I don't understand why she'd be so unwilling to leave the past behind.
My mother hated me in the same way she hated my father. It was easier for her to blame us for everything that had gone wrong in her miserable life.
What a lamentable attitude. Even if that was true, it doesn't justify her forsaking her own child.
Well, it doesn't matter anymore. She's no longer with us. My mother passed away a couple of months after I was released. It was at her memorial that I saw my sisters again.
Were they happy to see you?
I can't say they both were. Things had changed between us. Clemency was condescending toward me. She'd become heartless, just like our mother. But Mildred and I reconnected. It was thanks to her that I got my first job after prison. Unfortunately, I didn't stay in that job for long, all because of Nigel.
You've been deprived of happiness for too long, Georgiana. I hope you can find some here on Isla Esperanza.
People like me don't deserve to be happy, Mr. Navarro. There's a heavy burden I carry on my shoulders. A dark secret from my past. And after everything you've done for me, I owe you the truth. I've killed a person.
You've committed murder, but that wasn't mentioned in your police record.
That's because it was in Benjamin's file. My dear Benny took the blame and was arrested for a crime he didn't commit.
Georgiana, tell me what happened.
Remember the goon who caused a ruckus? I didn't tell you the whole story about him. We thought he wanted to buy some drugs from us. You know, business as usual. But the bloke came to rob us, not to buy from us. Of course, Ben wasn't about to let us get mugged. That man didn't hesitate for a moment. He started beating the hell out of Ben. I tried to interfere. But I just got knocked away. I knew that if this continued, my Benny would have been killed. So I grabbed Ben's knife. And stabbed the man. Mr. Navarro, I never wanted to take his life.
Georgiana, you were only defending the man you loved.
Yet killing someone ate away at my conscience. I froze in panic when I realized what I'd done. It was up to Ben to keep his cool for the both of us. He threw the corpse into the river and intended to drive us out of London that same night. But someone saw him disposing of the body and reported our number plate to the police. It didn't take them long to find us.
Tell me, Georgiana, was Warren responsible for any of this?
Years later, I found out that Nigel had sent that bloke after us. After I left prison, he approached me with pictures of me murdering his men. That bloody bastard threatened to send it to the police if I refused to work for him.
I can't believe he would go that far just to blackmail you. That seems too much, even for Warren.
The bloke was only supposed to steal the drugs, so I'd end up being in Nigel's debt. I imagine the pictures were going to be used as proof that I was selling his dirty product on the streets. With such evidence, that monster would likely have coerced me into the family trade much sooner. But that brilliant plan backfired, of course, when his man snapped and tried to kill Ben.
So, he waited until you were out of jail to finally make his move. Only a filthy individual like him would use a situation like that to his advantage.
I should have let Nigel go to the police and dealt with the consequences of my actions. But I couldn't face prison again.
Instead, you had to suffer through all those years working for him. Isn't that enough punishment for a lifetime?
I don't think that atones for my sins. I'm a murderer, Mr. Navarro.
Are you willing to have one in your employment?
Georgiana, you shouldn't keep blaming yourself for what happened back then. It's not the past that defines us, but the future we strive for. You're a good person. The remorse you've shown is proof of that.
I hope I can live up to your expectations, Mr. Navarro.
Listen to him play like that. It's almost criminal to disturb him, but duty calls. Good morning, Ruben.
Morning, Portia.
I got a call from the government of Sweden. They're asking for an update on the bio-research collaboration agreement.
I've already signed it.
Perfect. I will send it back to Prime Minister Lindgren at once.
Thank you, Portia. Please let her know that I'm very excited to start working with them. We will do incredible things together.
You could tell her that in person when you meet her again.
You're absolutely right. We should invite Prime Minister Lindgren to our next gathering on the island. And honestly, I'd love to get to know one of your friends.
My relationship with Anna Lindgren is strictly professional.
That wasn't the sentiment she conveyed when we spoke. She seemed rather fond of you.
Her fondness only extends as far as it benefits her. She wouldn't think twice about turning on me if it worked to her advantage. The only valuable lesson that woman ever taught me was never to put your trust in a politician.
Why did you push for us to reach an agreement with Lindgren then?
I knew how important access to Sweden's archive of classified bio-research would be for your project. And if striking a deal with a corrupt official is what it takes to get it, I'd do it again.
Corrupt? You shouldn't throw accusations like that around. Portia, what truly happened between you two?
She gave me a wake-up call about the world we live in. During the elections, I was an intern in her office and stumbled upon some confidential files. Those documents were evidence that Anna was blackmailing members of parliament. Unsurprisingly, they all voted for her as Prime Minister.
I never heard anything about this.
Naturally. You wouldn't have known. Anna destroyed all the evidence before I could take it to the authorities. She then threatened to ruin my career if I dared to speak out about what I saw. I did it anyway. And let me assure you, I have no regrets.
If you exposed her, why is Lindgren still in office?
An intern without proof speaking out against a prime minister? Please, no one cares. Of course, Parliament could have requested further investigation. But why bother when their hands were as dirty as Anna's?
Sadly, that's just the way it is in a lot of places.
But not here.
Is that why you decided to come work with me?
I'd been following your work for a long time, since before I became an intern for Anna. By your side, I know I can make a real difference. More than I ever could as a politician.
I truly couldn't have found a better assistant.
Excuse me? I found you. I was the one who kept showing up at your office until you gave me a job.
And I'm glad you did. I don't know what I would do without you.
Exactly. Now go get ready. You have 20 minutes until the call with the Mumbai branch. And in the meantime, I'll make sure to get the agreement sent back to Lindgren.
Thank you. It's on the table in the study.
And of course, there's nothing on the table. For his sake, I hope it's in one of the table drawers. Left it on the desk, he said. What is this? Lim, what the hell does she want with Reuben?
Dear Ruben, you're probably wondering why I haven't sent you the manuscript of my next novel yet. The truth is, I won't be sending it to you this time.
Good. Finally, Ruben won't have to waste any more time reading that pointless garbage.
I appreciate your feedback over the years, but I don't think it's necessary any longer. Nowadays, I can barely squeeze a word out. I'm not sure why. Perhaps the secrets I carry with me finally started weighing on me. All I know is that I can't keep it to myself anymore. I can't continue denying my feelings for you.
Seriously, could she be any more pathetic? Oh God, there's more.
Ruben, since the day we met, I felt there was something special about you. I loved all the time we spent together at the university library. Not to mention our long chats at the cafe nearby. They had the best coffee in the world, remember? You have no idea how much I miss those times. Life was much simpler back then, but after graduation, I isolated myself, thinking that my work was more important. After a while, I realized I didn't want to be by myself, and Jax was there to fill the void. But things between us have been complicated for quite some time now. I lost count of how many times we broke up and got back together. We were never on the same page in our relationship. I guess it's because, deep down, I always wanted to be... I know it isn't fair to Jax, but as much as I care for him, I can't see us spending the rest of our lives together. It's you who I want to be with. So, I will end this letter by saying this. Ruben Navarro, you are my best friend, my confidant, my love.
In your dreams, Lim. Ruben has more important things to care about than your immature feelings. I will not let you ruin him, even if it's the last thing I do. Ruben, we need to talk.
Can it wait, Portia? I need to find Janet.
Forget about Lim. You should be more concerned about your party in the garden.
What's the issue? The guests appear to be having a good time.
Ruben, you have a full schedule tomorrow, so please don't get carried away. I strongly suggest you hit the hay while I wrap up the party. I need you to be sharp and ready in the morning, which you won't be if you don't get proper rest.
Portia, don't start this again.
Start what?
Trying to control everyone. You're overstepping the boundaries.
I'm just looking after you.
Helping to manage my business is one thing. Monitoring my every step is another. Sometimes it feels like you're trying to put a leash on me. You need to take it easy.
If I take it easy, I'm afraid our deadlines will become nothing more than wishful thinking.
Perhaps. But keeping an iron grip on everything doesn't do much good either. If anything, it makes me lose concentration.
It's not my fault you're struggling to focus. If you want to blame something, blame all the trivial distractions, like this gathering.
Please enlighten me as to how they impact my work.
Instead of resting, you waste your time with these people. People like Lim.
I'm honestly tired of hearing you insult Janet, or any of my other guests.
I can't understand why you're so fond of these people. Honestly, some of your guests are total mediocrities.
Now I understand a bit better why some of them call you the Ice Queen.
Ice Queen? Seriously? Ruben, these people only spoil your intellect. I can feel my IQ dropping whenever they open their mouths.
What happened to you? You weren't like this before.
What happened to me? What happened to you? Your guests were much more respectable before. You used to invite true intellectuals, people who had something to offer.
Times change, Portia. I started the annual gatherings as a networking event, but I never enjoyed them back then. Most of the guests only came to talk about work. And what I really need is time off. Time to relax and spend with people I care about.
I only wish the guests were up to your standards.
Portia, you must stop putting me on a pedestal. I'm only human, like any other person.
You're too modest, Ruben. Your work will leave a mark for generations to come. Whereas those people outside will soon be forgotten.
Criticize my guests all you like. They'll always be welcome here. And I expect you to show them the respect they deserve.
I'll stay professional, as always, but I'll never agree with your choice of friends.
I guess this is all the common ground we're likely to find. There's no point continuing this conversation.
I disagree. There's still a party going on outside.
Portia, could you please just drop it?
Reuben, be reasonable. It's late and we all have a long day tomorrow.
I guess you're right. It's best for everyone to get some rest before leaving. I'll say goodbye to the guests.
I can pass on your regards to them. You should go get ready for your night's rest.
All right, but I need to talk to Janet first. She wanted to discuss something. Did you see her?
She went downstairs a few minutes ago.
Perfect. I'll go talk to her now.
May I ask what is so urgent?
I'm not sure, but she said it was important.
I see. In that case, it might be better if you leave it be. Given how flirtatious she was with you over dinner, I can guess what it is she wants to talk about.
Janet, flirting? Please, Portia.
She has feelings for you, Reuben. And I doubt that's going to sit well with the cowboy superstar if he finds out.
It's really none of your business, Portia.
I'm just looking after your well-being. This situation might lead to you fighting with your friends, which won't do you any good.
You're making too many assumptions. We don't even know what Janet wants.
Come on, Reuben. She clearly intends to confess her feelings for you. Just look at how she spent the weekend, chasing you around while ignoring her own man. And don't forget her awkward calls over the last few months. Calls you never replied to.
Well, regardless of what Janet wants to discuss, I can't keep avoiding her.
Please don't tell me you return Lim's feelings. You two can't be together, Reuben. You have to reject her. Think of your friendship with Trainer.
I appreciate the advice, but I don't need it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to see Janet.
Suit yourself, but I'd suggest you take this conversation somewhere private. You don't want anyone to overhear you by accident, do you?
You're right. It'd be best to keep our conversation private. Could you ask Janet to come see me in the study?
Of course, Reuben.
Thank you, Portia. And please be kind to her.
Last time I saw Janet, she was going down to the basement. She should still be there.
Listen, Alice, I'm sorry I let you down, but you've got to give me more time. I know fans have been demanding a sequel, but an extra month won't hurt. I guarantee you I can get it done. I have people working on the final draft. Yes, they do lack my touch. But what do you expect me to do? These days, I'm not capable of putting a single goddamn sentence together. Don't tell me to relax, Alice. I will make sure the draft is finished by the end of the month.
Well, well, well.
Portia, what are you doing here?
Reuben asked me to find you.
Oh, well, we shouldn't keep him waiting then.
Are you sure? Seems you were in the middle of a very important call. You should probably pick up the phone again. It's rather impolite to leave the person on the other end hanging. After all, your book won't write itself. Although, hiring a few more ghostwriters might help.
Were you eavesdropping on me?
Why so nervous, Lem? Afraid someone will find out you're a fraud?
Whatever you think you heard is none of your business.
It's not what I think, it's what I know. And I know that you haven't sent Reuben your latest manuscripts. You've never published without first getting his feedback. Well, at least not the books you wrote yourself.
What a vivid imagination! Perhaps you should consider a writing career.
It's true. I could release a book detailing Janet Lim's web of fabrications and deceit.
You know what? I'm done talking to you. I'm going back upstairs.
You can run, but you can't hide from the truth.
What truth? You have no proof of what you're insinuating.
I don't need any. Your own work should speak for itself. You said it before. Those ghostwriters lack authenticity. If your audience hears it's not you writing, they'll be able to connect the dots.
Keep your mouth shut, Frost, or I'll...
You'll what? Are you actually threatening me? Wow, little Miss Goody Two-Shoes has finally shown her true colors.
I'll get you fired for this. Reuben will listen to me.
Go ahead. He's waiting in the study. But mark my words. You do this, and I'll end your career. All I need is to make one phone call.
You're bluffing.
Try me.
What the hell do you want, Portia? Is it money?
All I want is for you to stay out of Reuben's life.
I beg your pardon.
Are you deaf? I want you to keep your distance from him. Don't contact him, reply only when he reaches out, and most importantly, never waste his time with your petty problems.
You can't expect me to do that. Reuben or Jax will suspect something is wrong.
I'm sure you'll find an excuse. If there is something you're good at, it's lying.
Go to hell, Portia.
Hell is what your life is going to become if you don't cooperate.
Why are you doing this? What do you gain from it?
I'm doing what's best for Reuben.
Who put you in charge of deciding what's best for him?
You're in no position to ask questions here.
You know, I've always found it weird, the way you keep him in check. It's not normal for an assistant to act like that, unless there's an underlying motive. You want to keep Reuben for yourself, don't you?
Unlike you, Lim, I have no desire to stand between Reuben and his goals. Changing the world should be his only concern.
Cut the crap, Frost. Confess your obsession with him.
There's nothing to confess.
You don't even have the courage to admit it. I guess, deep down, you know Reuben will never love someone like you.
Say one more word. Just one more word, Lim. I dare you.
You don't scare me, Frost. Let's see what Reuben has to say about your threats.
Think twice before you do something stupid. Do as I say, or everything you've built will crumble in front of your eyes. Got it? Do your part, and I will do mine. Seriously? Still celebrating? Some people. I can't wait to end this party, but I need to talk to Reuben first.
Portia, did you find Janet?
She isn't coming.
What? What did she say?
Not much. Trainer arrived soon after me and confronted Janet.
About what? I should go see them.
I strongly suggest you don't. He knows Janet has feelings for someone else. He doesn't know who it is, but if you're there, that might give him a better idea. Look, Reuben, Trainer is trying his best to save their relationship. Do you really want to stand in his way? You getting involved won't help anyone.
You might be right. Perhaps it's best not to get involved.
Wise decision. Is there anything else I can do for you?
No, that's it. Thank you, Portia. Have a good night.
Good night, Reuben. I'm sorry you're in pain, Reuben. But you will overcome this, and nothing else will stand in your way. Now, off to end that stupid party.
Janet, don't worry. We'll get off this damn island.
How, Jax? How? Some lunatic burnt down our only ticket out of here.
Sooner or later, that lunatic'll make a mistake, and then we'll catch them.
And what if they don't? Are you going to hunt them down like in one of your movies?
If it comes to that, I will.
Jax, this isn't a movie. You're not invincible. You don't even have a gun.
I might not have one on me, but I'm telling you, I ain't going down without a fight.
Oh, shut up, Jax. I'm fed up with your macho attitude.
Janet, you gotta relax.
Do not tell me to relax, Jax Trainer. I've had enough of you. Just leave me be.
That ain't happening. What kind of man would I be if I left my woman like this?
Oh, please. It's way too late to start growing a conscience. You were never around when I needed you most, so why start now?
What do you want me to say? I'm an actor, Janet. Movies ain't shot in the blink of an eye. And I'm committed to my craft. I can't half-ass my way through it, no matter what.
So that's your excuse for falling off the face of the earth for months on end?
Is it too much to ask for a single phone call? To show that you still care? Even just a little?
Janet, I'm here now, ain't I? And you have my word. We're going to make it out of this place safe and sound. We've ridden out worse storms before, haven't we? And look at us, still standing, still here.
What the hell are you talking about?
The time we had that accident on the road. We were driving through the desert. I was taking you to visit my parents. But that goddamn deer just jumped in front of us. Our car was beyond repair. You tried to get a cellular connection, but I knew we'd find none in the middle of the desert. So we took turns waiting, hoping someone would show up and give us a ride. When no one did, we had no other choice but to walk. And you marched forward like a champ. Remember how exhausted we were at the end of the first day? We thought the hiking was bad. That was nothing compared to the cold night. And the next day, we had to move on. We had no water, no food. I have no idea how we kept walking. All I know is that if it hadn't been for you, Janet, we'd never have reached that gas station.
You're giving me too much credit, Jax. All I did was fuss and complain.
What you did was give me a kick in my ass when I needed it the most. If it hadn't been for you, I don't know if I could have kept walking. You and I, Janet, we make one hell of a team.
At least, we used to.
What do you mean by used to?
Jax, please don't start. I'm too tired for this. I should go to bed now.
Do you want me to stay until you fall asleep?
I'll be fine on my own, but thanks.
I could read you a poem. It always used to make your worries fade.
I'm not sure.
Come on, darling. Just like the good old days.
All right, I suppose. The book is in my bag.
Same as usual?
Yes, please.
Pale amber sunlight falls across the reddening October trees that hardly sway before a breeze as soft as summer. Summer's loss seems little, dear, on days like these. Let misty autumn be our part. The twilight of the year is sweet. Where shadow and the darkness meet, our love, a twilight of the heart. I love you, Janet.
Thanks.
Can't believe she didn't even bother to say I love you back. I need a drink. Finally, some peace and quiet. Ugh, drinking so much on an empty stomach ain't good. I need a bite to eat. Let's see. Maybe Mrs. Bird left some beef jerky in one of the drawers. Bingo! That'll go nicely with a drink. I do need a new bottle, though.
What were you doing in the fridge so late at night, Mr. Trainer?
Just stretching my legs. And, yourself, Georgiana?
Trying to keep busy. It's the only thing that keeps me sane during all this madness.
I get it. I'll leave you to it, then.
Just hold on a minute. Do you really think I didn't notice you stealing from the fridge?
Come on, Georgiana. It's just a snack.
Jackson Trainer, I'm responsible for everything stored in here.
I'm sorry. But there's no arguing with my stomach.
Don't think your southern charm can always save you, Mr. Trainer. Next time I catch you red-handed, it'll be the last food you eat on this island. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Good night, Mr. Trainer.
Phew! I thought she was going to take the jerky away. I better leave before she does.
Hello, handsome.
Margot, what are you doing here?
Can't sleep. Not with everything that's going on. Care to join me for a drink, mon ami?
You bet.
There's an open bottle on the bar. Bring it over. I'm in dire need of a refill. And fetch a glass for yourself, too.
Plenty of choice, but Margot said there's already a bottle sitting on the bar. Josie Black, huh? Margot sure knows her drinks.
To another horrible night on this island.
Cheers.
You know, I never told you. You look way better in person than on a screen.
Margot, are you flirting with me?
What if I am?
Well, you'd better find another man, because this one's taken.
Is he though? Recently, you and Janet have seemed more like friends than anything else. Seriously, the two of you don't even share the same room anymore.
We're going going through a rough patch. Janet doesn't feel comfortable sleeping in the same room.
Oh, care to share why?
Can we change the subject, please?
So reluctant to talk about yourself. Got something to hide?
We all do. I'm sure a media mogul like you has a fair share of her own secrets.
Me? Please. I'm an open book. Go ahead and ask me anything you want.
All right then. I've heard that your relationships never last. What's the story there?
Well, aren't you just dying to find out about my romantic endeavors? All right, I'll share. It's no secret that I've had many men over the years, but none of them captured my heart. Well, except for one. Jamil was the most remarkable man I've ever met.
I can't believe someone had Margot St. Germain head over heels in love. Who was the lucky fella?
My senior and mentor at college. He was truly awe-inspiring.
And what exactly set him apart from the herd?
He was everything I aspired to be. Jamil was a man of immense worth, an unyielding force of independent journalism.
You're pulling my leg, right? Margot St. Germain, the titan of mass media, once stood against it?
I wanted to fight the mainstream networks, just like Jamil did. He never bowed to corporate interests. He was a true reporter.
But you've turned out to be the total opposite of that.
Well, I guess I wasn't as strong as Jamil when it came to resisting corporate money. But enough about me. I want to hear about you.
That's only fair, I guess. Come on, shoot. What do you want to know about me?
What's truly going on between you and Janet?
It feels like we're on the brink of becoming strangers, all tangled up in our own personal problems.
What's caused such turmoil in your relationship?
A lot of things. Janet's writer's block, my production company failing. Our problems just kept stacking up into this insurmountable wall between us.
Well, you're a couple. Aren't you supposed to help one another?
Janet's in no condition to help anyone. She's overwhelmed as it is. Dragging my problems into the mix would only lead to more fights. And do I want to be blamed for everything? No thanks.
Is she that self-centered?
Yeah, she is.
A man like you deserves better.
Come on, Margarita. Let's have another drink.
How about we take this somewhere more private?
Margot, what are you?
Happy to see you too, handsome.
Oh, hell.
Come on, don't be like that. I don't remember hearing you complain last night.
No one can find out about this.
Better hide the photo then.
What photo?
The one on the table.
Crap. I'm getting rid of this.
Oh, I'd hoped to hold on to it as a souvenir.
This photo was a mistake, just like everything else we did last night.
Why are you so ashamed? We had so much fun together.
It shouldn't have happened in the first place.
Jackson, we did it, and you liked it. All that's left is to admit it.
Very thought of last night feels repulsive now. I shouldn't have cheated on Jan.
Gosh, cut the drama. If you feel so guilty, just go tell her about it.
Are you being serious right now?
Oui, of course. What harm could it do?
Absolutely not. I can't imagine what this would do to Janet.
When will you start thinking about yourself, Jackson? If she's not fulfilling your needs, you should look for someone who does.
That's not how relationships work.
What relationship, Jackson? It's over between you two. Denying it will only cause you pain. Believe me, I know.
Thanks, Margot, but I don't need relationship counseling. Especially from you.
Chérie, I'm speaking out of personal experience. I've had my fair share of relationships over the years. Each and every one ended with a trail of broken-hearted lovers who were unable to swallow the truth that I'd lost interest. Just like you can't accept that Janet doesn't love you anymore.
This is different, Margot. Her love for me may have faded, but I'm sure I can reignite it. If you keep quiet about last night.
Are you asking me to lie for you, Jackson?
I'm not asking for much. Think of Jamil. If you could go back in time for another chance with him, wouldn't you take it?
Of course not. I have no regrets, Jackson.
Are you seriously telling me that you don't miss him?
Even if I did, it doesn't matter anymore. What's done is done.
But it doesn't have to be the same for Janet and me. So please help me here. Help me save my relationship. All you need to do is stay quiet.
Fine, but only if you give me our photo.
The photo? Why? What are you gonna do with it?
I told you before. I want a souvenir of last night.
Or maybe you want proof that we slept together. Your gossip magazines could make a lot of money off of it.
Do you really think I'd publish things about myself in my own magazine? Please. This photo will be for my eyes only. We've got to trust each other, Jackson. So, can I have the photo, please?
If that's what it costs to buy your silence.
Merci, mon chéri. Now I have 2 souvenirs from last night.
2?
Oh, did I forget to mention I had another photo? Always keep a backup, trainer. Au revoir, mon ami.
Crap.
He's really gone.
It seems it's my lucky day. With Ruben's security man out of the picture, my work here just got much easier. Although, it's hard to believe that Lucas just tripped and died. Anyway, None of this matters now. To keep things going smoothly here, I have to stop Reuben from contacting the authorities. I must cut all communication with the outside world as soon as possible. But I'd better stay put for now. At least, until this nosy journalist leaves. Can't risk making her suspicious. I guess that's my cue. First things first. I need to cut all communication with the mainland. I have to access the middle section of the satellite dish to modify the signal. Child's play, according to the tech team. Next, I need to remove the chip in the middle. Now, I need to insert the modified chip they gave me. That takes care of one thing.
Hey, mademoiselle. What are you doing on this side of the island?
I needed some fresh air. It's not every day someone dies outside my windows.
Yeah, pretty crap way to start the weekend.
Are we even spending the rest of the weekend here? I won't be surprised if Reuben decides to cancel the gathering after what happened.
That party shouldn't end just because the security man had an accident.
So, his death's been confirmed as an accident?
What is there to confirm? The guy tripped and hit his head. End of story.
You seem very confident about what happened.
And you're overthinking it.
Why are you so certain it was an accident? You weren't even there.
I just heard people talking about it, that's all. Anyway, I'm going back inside. I'll see you at dinner.
Take care, Shahid. Something doesn't feel right here. I need to find out what happened before anyone else does. Oh, I should powder my nose before dinner. An occasion is still an occasion, no matter how grim.
Sure. Nice talking to you, Miss Saint Germain.
Mon Dieu. I thought she'd never leave. I hate LA girls. They talk too much. Anyway, time for the real work to begin. If I want to get into the security office, I need to take a few gadgets first. think my phone is charged. To get inside the office, I need the security man's keycard. It's probably still on him.
Miss Saint Germain, what brings you here?
I came to see you, Mrs. Bird. I've been worried about you.
I'm still in shock, but I'll be fine. No need to worry about me.
Oh, chérie. I know. Lucas was like a son to you. No one should be forced to work while mourning a loved one.
Don't be silly. I'm not being forced. As a matter of fact, I insisted on doing my job. Work keeps my mind busy and helps me cope with Lucas's passing.
Lucas had been working for Ruben for quite some time, right? Had you known him for long?
I would say about 5 years. The boy was so serious when he first arrived on Esperanza. It took a while for him to warm up to us all. He might have looked tough, but deep down he was such a sweetheart.
I'm sure he was. I wish I had known him better. It sounds like he was such a good man.
One of the best. He'll be dearly missed. But
Is there anything I can do to help, chérie?
Miss Saint Germain, you're a guest here. I can't accept your help.
Please, Mrs. Bird, I insist. And between you and me, I'd prefer some work to keep my mind busy too.
I see. Well, if you could grab me some garlic from the fridge, it would be much appreciated.
No problem. I'll be right back. Stored in the fridge. A suitable place for someone so unremarkable. So, were you a good boy? Did you keep your keycard close? The card must be in his inner pocket. I should use the keycard replicator to make a copy. I should use the keycard replicator to make a copy. Done. Better leave the card where I found it. Now to find that garlic before the housemaid gets suspicious.
Did you find it, Miss Saint Germain? Thank you. If it isn't too much of a bother, could you go back to the fridge and find me...
I need some fresh air, Mrs. Burke. Seeing a dead body really turned my stomach.
Oh, yes, of course. I understand. Thank you again. I'll go and find it myself.
That crone really thought I was going to do more work for her. Delusional. Regardless, I should use this opportunity to get into the security office. Good. For the next step, I need my phone to figure out the passcode. The last numbers in the sequence should have the warmest prints. Let's see. We found the body a little before 2 o'clock. Wolfie! He was the cause of Lucas's death? I should have realized. But it's possible to turn this to my advantage. Wolfie could be a very valuable asset, as long as no one else finds out he killed Lucas. Time for the main event.
But first, let's raise a toast to Lucas Matonis, my friend and security chief. You always had my back. I wish I could have had yours. Godspeed, Lucas.
That was beautiful, Reuben. Of course, you know there's nothing you could have done.
Margot's right, Reuben.
And he doesn't admit that often, do you, Sam? Freddy should be in his suite.
Hey, I wasn't expecting company tonight.
Mon ami, I came to see how you were holding up. Jackson did quite a number on you earlier.
If I'd been serious, that Hundesohn would have been the one flying through the window today. Just saying.
Sounds very believable, coming from a man drowning his sorrows in whiskey.
I'm just enjoying my stay here. Besides, a little booze never hurts anybody. You can join me, if you'd like.
Bien. One drink wouldn't hurt.
Ah, that's the spirit. Grab a seat. I'll pour you a glass.
You do realize that the bottle is empty, right?
Huh. Would you look at that? Any chance you grabbed another one from the mansion?
Freddy, forget the drink. There's something more important I'd like to talk about. I've been reviewing the security footage.
And what's that got to do with me?
I witnessed Lucas's last moments, Freddy. His blood is on your hands.
Oh, scheiße. Look, it was an accident, Margot. He lost his footing. It wasn't my fault. You believe me, right?
I do, Wolfie. But that doesn't change the fact that you committed manslaughter, which, as you know, is a punishable offense.
I can't go to prison. My career, my reputation, all gone if I end up behind bars.
Then we must ensure that this stays our little secret. And luckily for you, I've already deleted the footage.
Margot, why would you do this for me?
Perhaps I have a soft spot for you. Or maybe it's my desire to get the raw, uncut story first. So, let's hear it. Tell me what really happened.
Lucas, it was a pain in the ass from the moment I set foot on the shore. Remember when Lucas confronted me right out of the gate? He did that so he could threaten me. Told me I'd better behave on Esperanza. It didn't stop there either. Once I dropped my stuff off, he was waiting for me at the pool. Lucas warned me that he'd kick my ass if I overstepped the bounds. But he crossed the line when he started talking about my late girlfriend. Your reckless behavior only leads to tragedy. Just look at Elena Curler, he said. Seriously? Fleeing like a wimp? He's all like, Mr. Wolf, don't make me use force on you. And please, watch your behavior before you cause irreversible damage again. He tried to de-escalate. But at that moment, I couldn't have cared less. Ah! If only that idiot had watched where he was going. All of this could have been avoided.
It seems Lucas wasn't exactly the saint everyone thought he was.
The guy was a bastard.
Bastard or not, he can't be blamed for what happened. This is on you, Freddy. And I wouldn't bet on anyone rallying to your defense.
I'm not an idiot, Margot. I understand the situation I'm in. But you? Erasing the footage, coming to me? Why? What do you want from me? If you try to tell anyone about it, I swear.
Oh, Freddy. You're falling apart at the seams. Believe it or not, I'm here to help. And besides, this wouldn't even be the first time I've covered up your mistakes.
What are you on about?
After the tragic death of your girlfriend, I received a call from your managers. They asked me for my help to sweep the accident. Apparently, the press got their hands on a video Elena made that night. I was paid to get rid of it, which I did. But not before I'd had a peek at it myself. The video didn't show the crash. But it did show you drinking and driving. Not to mention your inability to keep your eyes on the road. If you'd been less occupied, perhaps you would have noticed the red light. Had that video seen the light of day, you would have been held accountable for Elena's death.
Elena. It should have been me.
News like that would make a lot of money. But I couldn't do such a thing to you.
Spare me the act, Margot. I know the price of silence in this world, and I bet your bank account knows it too.
Sometimes, doing good deeds requires a little compensation.
Figures. How much do you want this time?
Freddy, you're such a capitalist. It's adorable. But your wallet can stay in your pocket. I just want you to spend a night in the lighthouse on the edge of the island. What do you say?
You've got to be joking. A night in the lighthouse? What's the catch?
There is no catch, just a rule. Don't ask questions. All you need to do is identify areas of the mansion clearly visible from the lighthouse. And while you're at it, keep an eye out for any unusual activity. That's it.
And if I refuse?
Cooperation is strongly recommended, mon ami.
Or else what? You're going to tell everyone I killed Lucas?
Words may not be enough to convince them. However, showing them a copy of the security footage just might.
You had a copy of the videos this entire time?
Oh, didn't I tell you? Must have slipped my mind.
Scheiße.
So, are you in or are you out?
I'll only need to spend one night in the lighthouse, right? If I do that, you will give me the video?
Oui. I will bring it to you first thing in the morning.
All right, Margot. You win. But it's pitch black out there. How am I supposed to see anything?
Worry not, mon ami. I sneaked a special pair of night vision binoculars onto the island. They're simply magnifique.
Where is this high-tech spy gear then?
Safely stored in my room, of course. Give me a moment, Wolfie. I'll bring it to you now. Just where I left it. There are instructions in the case. Everything you need to know is inside. Do your job well, and you'll receive the only proof of your little accident tomorrow.
You better keep your end of the deal.
Do your part, and I'll do mine. So, if I were you, I wouldn't waste any more time. I'd get to work.
Aren't you forgetting something? How do I get to the lighthouse? I need directions.
Ah, I'll draw you a map. Get me a pen and some paper. Can this little brain of yours make sense of it?
Yeah, this will do.
Good. Memorize it, then burn it. Leave no evidence behind.
Do you have a lighter on you? I'll need a spark to get the fire going.
Take good care of it. I want it back. That should be Freddy. Hopefully, with the information I asked for. Bonjour, mon ami. You look terrible.
I barely slept. What did you expect?
For you to show up not reeking of alcohol. Did you at least do what I asked?
Don't worry. I got the information you wanted. The wine was just to keep me company over the night. Now, where's my footage?
Shh. Keep your voice down. Let's go talk in my room.
So, give me the footage.
Not so fast. You'll get it once I'm satisfied with your work. What did you see?
It's a whole lot of the greenhouse. And let me tell you, there's not much going on in there at night.
Is that it? You better not be holding anything back, Freddy.
Sorry to disappoint. Oh, but the rest of the mansion was kind of obscured by the huge jungle.
Or were you too drunk to keep your eyes open?
Hey, I did my job. I got you information, didn't I?
You were supposed to bring me something worth knowing. Not some useless observations. At the very least. Did you... Did you get rid of the map, as I told you to?
Nothing but ashes now.
Okay. And my lighter. I'd like it back.
Scheiße. I must have left it in my room. I'll bring it later.
You better. Now go take a shower before the smell soaks into my furniture.
Ain't you forgetting something? Where's my footage?
Mon ami, if you can't keep your end of the deal, neither can I. The footage will remain under lock and key until you've earned it.
Earned it? Do you want me to go back to the lighthouse or something?
That won't be necessary anymore. You should stay put until you're given new instructions.
I don't like being played, Margot. Just tell me what the hell you want from me.
To be a good little wolfie, and give me some space to think. You'll get your shot at redemption soon enough. It's me. We need to talk.
Q? What about him?
Well, I saw Q and Lucas arguing when I first arrived. Right by that damn pool. Now just leave me be, okay? What the hell was I thinking? Oh, once she finds out I lied about the gardener, I'm done for. Scheiße. I need to talk to Margot. If I get the security footage, there's no way they'll be able to pin Lucas's death on me.
The death of Ruben's security man was unexpected. But
What? Who is she talking to?
everything is going according to plan. Oui, the ring did its job. The poison was quite effective.
Is she on the phone? How? There's no signal.
Ruben was out for the count in a matter of seconds.
Wait a minute. Margot poisoned Ruben?
Yes, yes. The Admiral's situation is being handled. I'll update you tomorrow. Au revoir.
Margot's a goddamn psycho. There's no way she'll just give me the security footage. But if I find the ring Margot used to poison Ruben, I might be able to trade it for the footage. Why are we here, Margot?
How oblivious are you? You were at the dinner table. You heard that the Admiral is planning to take his boat out tomorrow? I can't allow that to happen. His precious Bessie needs to go.
So, you're saying we should sink his boat?
Bingo.
Hold on a minute. Aren't you sabotaging your own ticket out of here?
All I'm hearing are questions, Freddy. That's not what we agreed on.
I don't care. I ain't lifting a finger until you tell me what you're really up to.
Wolfie, why are you complicating our relationship? We have such a good thing going on.
I've had enough of your bullshit. Go look for some other idiot to do your dirty work. I'm done.
You're done when I say you're done. Do as I say, and I promise you'll leave this island as a free man. Don't, and, well, I'm sure you'll make a bunch of new friends behind bars.
Is that a threat? Who do you think you are? Let's see how everyone feels about you trying to set the Admiral's boat on fire.
Oh, and who will believe the man who killed Lucas? Squeal, and I'll make sure there won't be a single person left on this planet who hasn't seen your footage.
Do that, and you're dead.
Resorting to violence? Lovely. I'm sure killing another innocent woman will really help your case. Be my guest. No. Good. Your first wise decision since setting foot on this island. Cooperate, and I assure you that once my business is concluded, you'll get your footage.
Like your word means anything.
Betray me, and you'll see the true value of my word.
Let's just get this over with.
That's what I like to hear. Ruben should have fuel stored in the boathouse. We need to get inside.
How? The door's locked.
Then break it. And give me my lighter back.
I forgot it.
Of course you did. But it might not be an issue. Be quick about it, Freddy. We don't have all night. Be careful, you idiot!
Yeah, yeah.
Put it back and then head to your room. Try not to get noticed.
And what will you do?
I'll go alert everyone to the terrible fire, of course. In the meantime, I need you to get rid of the fire extinguisher in the foyer. Don't forget to be discreet.
I can't trust Margot to keep her word. I need to find that ring. This might be the only opportunity I'll get to search her room for it. It's now or never.
Bessie! No!
My ticket, burning up into the sky.
We're never getting off this bloody island!
We'll get through this, darling. I promise.
Whoever did this, they'll pay dearly. That's the final straw.
I best go check up on Reuben.
Bummer, eh?
How stressful. I need to lie down.
We need to talk.
I think we've done enough talking for the day, Wolfie. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to catch up on my beauty sleep.
It can't wait till tomorrow, Margot.
If this is another attempt to beg for the security footage, give it a rest already. You'll get it once you've earned it.
Or you give it to me now, and I won't tell everyone that you poisoned Reuben.
Me? Poisoning someone? Don't be ridiculous, Freddy.
Enough of the lies, Margot. I overheard your phone call today. I know it was you. And I've got the ring you poisoned Reuben with, to prove it.
You are full of surprises, aren't you, Shihee?
Guess I'm not as dumb as you thought. I'd offer you a one-time trade. The ring for the security footage.
I guess I don't have much choice, do I? However, I don't have the USB key on me. It's hidden outside the mansion.
Lead the way, then.
Freddy, we'll attract too much attention if we disappear now. And I'm sure Carla won't go to bed before she's questioned everyone about the incident. It's safer for us to wait until everyone's settled in their suite for the night, before heading out.
Fine. When and where should we meet up?
In the backyard at midnight.
You better show up.
And you better bring the ring. This complicates things. Looks like Wolfie's expiration date just got brought forward. The window is open. That's probably how Freddy got into my room. Luckily, the idiot didn't notice the secret compartment. If he had found the security footage, I'd be done for. I should take a flashlight before I leave. There should be one in the bottom drawer.
You are seriously testing my patience. 2 more minutes, and I would have blown the lid off this whole thing.
A lady is always fashionably late, Wolfie. You should know that. Besides, I'm here now. No harm, no foul.
So, where's the USB key?
Not so fast, mon ami. First, I want you to tell me what you did with the fire extinguisher.
Don't push it, Margot.
The sooner you answer, the sooner you'll get the security footage. Oui?
I threw it off the cliffside. It's at the bottom of the ocean now.
Even while backstabbing me, you still did what I asked. Such a gentleman. And what about my lighter? Do you have it on you?
Maybe I do, maybe I don't. What's the deal with the lighter anyway? You've been nagging me about it for a while now.
It was a gift from someone special to me.
Someone special? And who would that be?
His name was Jamil. A man I...
Wow, you seriously thought I cared? Stop wasting my time. But I'll tell you what. Give me the footage, and I'll throw in the lighter with the ring as a bonus.
Don't get too cocky, Wolfie. Remember, the bigger the ego, the harder the fall.
Right back at you. Now, lead the way, if you want this deal to happen. How far away are you planning to take me?
Don't tell me the big bad Wolfie is getting cold feet.
For all I know, you could be leading me into a trap.
To do what? Kill you? You're such a drama queen. But honestly, I'm flattered you think I could take down such a strong man as yourself.
Stop the act, Margot. I know you're not alone in this. Who were you talking to on the phone? And how on earth were you able to get a signal?
With my personal satellite phone, of course. You didn't think I'd come unprepared, did you, Wolfie? As for who I was talking to, I guess you could call him a colleague. But all you need to know is that, if anything happens to me, my people know where the USB key is.
Who the hell even are your people?
We call ourselves the Overseers. Have you heard of us?
Over what? Is that some kind of weird cult?
I'd consider us as a discreet group of very powerful and influential individuals.
Don't tell me. You guys are like the Illuminati? You know, like a secret underground society that controls the world from the shadows?
Something like that.
Sure. Let's say I believe you. Could you explain then why the oh so great Overseers are trying to kill Reuben?
Wolfie, please. If we were trying to kill him, he'd be dead already. Our intention is not to murder Reuben, but to take possession of his life's work.
Great. So, you dragged me into this mess because of some science project. I think I've heard enough. Just give me the damn USB key.
As you wish. It's inside the abandoned building.
Can't see a thing in here.
Wolfie, what would you do without me?
If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even be here. Now hand over the footage.
What's the rush, Freddy? Are you sure you don't want to hear more about Ruben's science project first?
What I want is my security footage.
Such a pity. His project could do wonders for you.
Fine. Tell me then, what is Ruben working on?
On a serum that could give us eternal youth.
Did you seriously think I'd be stupid enough to believe that? First the secret society crap, now this? You're messing with me.
Wolfie, would I lie to you? Ruben truly has made a serum that can keep people young. Imagine staying at your peak for decades and living without the fear of getting old. It's truly beautiful. If you help me steal it, I'll share this gift with you.
Nah, whatever you're trying to sell, I ain't buying.
Suit yourself. But remember, careers end and fame fades away. You'll be no exception. Be sure that, when your time comes, you won't regret the decision you made here today.
Do you really think it's worth stooping so low just because you're afraid of some wrinkles?
Fear is a strong motivator, but not the only one. The Overseer's main goal has always been about gaining more control. And what better way to do that than to outlive the competition and buy their stocks?
Is that your goal? Or your boss's?
I am one of the bosses, Wolfie. And I'd like to keep that position as long as I can.
I see. So, you're just a power-hungry fiend. Is that the only requirement for joining your secret elites group?
Funny. But we don't let just anyone in. We are very exclusive after all.
So, how did you end up in your secret society?
It's a long story. I first heard of them from my mentor, Jamil, when I was studying journalism in the early 90s. He was obsessed with these rumors about a secret organization controlling the world. At the time, I didn't believe any of it and wrote it off as nonsense, as you are doing now. But a few years later, when I was already a powerhouse in the industry, Jamil sent me a dossier on the Overseers. He was found dead the same day. The police called it suicide. I called it murder.
Let me get this straight. The Overseers killed a guy, and instead of exposing the asses, you joined them.
It's funny how things turn out sometimes, no? I started by investigating Jamil's murderer, but all that did was attract their attention. Luckily for me, Jamil's dossier contained some incriminating evidence on them. I made sure to have a fail-safe so the dossier would still be published if they tried to get rid of me. But apparently, they were more impressed than threatened by my bold stance. So they offered me a position in the group. I accepted, on one condition. They had to tell me whose hands ended Jamil's life.
Did you at least hand the guy over to the police?
Let's just say, he got what he deserved. I stayed with the Overseers afterward, thinking I could take them down from within. But, looking back at it now, I did it because of all the power and influence they gave me.
So, you were corrupted.
The way I see it, the overseers didn't change me. They showed me who I truly was.
Alright, Margot. It's been a great story. Really. But I think that's enough theatrics for one day. Let's just make the trade and get out of here.
You sure? We're having such a great time together.
You either tell me where the goddamn USB key is, or the deal is off.
Well, you just sucked all the excitement out of the room. It's on the floor, under the well cover.
Right here?
Oui. Do you think I could get my ring and lighter back now?
Yeah. Let me get the USB key first. Huh. Nothing's here. What the hell, Margot?
Au revoir, mon ami. And he still has my lighter. Oh well. I guess that's a goodbye to Jamil's memory too.
Come with me. We know who killed Lucas.
Really? Who did it?
If you want to find out, follow me to Rubens' suite. It will be revealed to everyone there.
Lead the way then. Is that a gun? Perhaps I should steal it for myself if things went south. You've been dusting this room for a while, Georgiana. Are you all right?
Oh my. I must have lost track of time. I hope I'm not being too much of a nuisance.
You're no trouble at all. But I am a bit curious. Why are you still working after all the horrible atrocities that have happened? If it was me, I'd have handed in my notice days ago.
I could never do that to Ruben. And honestly, work is the only thing that keeps me sane.
Sure, it might help the mind. But working yourself to exhaustion doesn't do your body any favors. So how about you take a break and have a drink with me instead?
I appreciate the offer, Miss Saint Germain, but I'm afraid I can't. A drink wouldn't do me any good right now.
Then how about a chat? An interesting conversation might keep both our minds occupied.
A chat does sound lovely. What would you like to talk about?
Well, I don't want to pry, but I've overheard some gossip before about you being a former convict.
I suppose I can't outrun my past after all.
So it is true. How does someone as earnest as you end up in jail?
Let's just say, matters of the heart led me down some thorny paths.
You poor thing. How much time did it cost you?
10 dreadful years.
Sacre bleu. You must have quite a tale to tell.
One I'd prefer not to share, if you don't mind.
Completely understandable. We all have our hidden chapters, don't we? Now, it's only fair that I answer some of your questions next.
Oh, that's not necessary, Miss Saint Germain. I don't even know what I'd ask.
Then how about I share a story about the time I joined a civil rights protest that got me incarcerated?
You served time? A woman of your status? Now that's a surprise.
Oh, I've had my moments. In my student years, I was fueled by dreams and ideals, convinced I could reshape the world. But as they say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. A single protest gone awry, and there I was, behind bars. It was only for a couple of weeks, but it felt like a lifetime.
Good thing it was short-lived then.
Can you believe? My own father wanted to leave me there until the trial. He called me the black sheep of the family.
But you didn't do anything wrong.
According to him, I'd been associating with whiny vagabonds who were ruining our country. He thought a short spell in prison would knock some sense into me.
I do understand what it feels like not to live up to your family's ridiculous expectations. My very own mother disowned me because I couldn't live up to her standards.
And that's exactly what made us strong, Georgiana. Our despicable families forced us to become self-reliant in order to survive.
I agree, Miss Saint Germain. But families are complicated. My father abandoned me during my youth, but showed up when I needed him the most. As a matter of fact, it's because of his moral support that I was able to get out of jail.
You're fortunate to have a father who cared enough to make amends. All mine ever did was ignore me. At least he kept my arrest out of the papers. But even that was to protect his own image. That was all he ever cared about.
With all due respect, your father sounds like a nasty piece of work. But even someone like him might one day feel remorse for their actions.
I doubt it. Our years of silence speak louder than any words could at this point.
There's still time to make things right.
What time? I'll be 50 next year, and my father's probably drafting his will as we speak.
Oh my, you don't look your age at all.
No thanks to my past. However, let's not continue to dwell on distant memories, and instead, talk about something more pleasant, like the divine spa I frequent in Paris. It's my little fountain of youth, you see. I'd be more than happy to arrange a trip for you as well.
That does sound lovely. Perhaps after all this is over, I should take a holiday.
This is my chance to search Portia's room for any information on Project Genetica.
And maybe go visit a couple of other countries afterwards.
Merde!
Oh my goodness. I've got it, Miss Saint Germain. You'd better go and change.
Merci, chérie. I'll be back in a second. Before going up to Portia's, I should grab a few things from my suite. I need to get the black USB key out of the bag to help me infiltrate Portia's laptop. And I mustn't forget to grab the gloves off the nightstand too. Better safe than sorry. There should be another USB key in the handbag. And then there were none. A stark tale of isolation, guilt, and justice. Locked. But not for long. Worked like a charm. Time to glove up and make my entrance. Okay, now let's get down to business.
What are you doing here? I asked you a question.
Some accidents just can't be avoided. Sorry, Sam, but I guess you'll have to be my scapegoat. I suppose I should put the gun back in the secret stash. I forgot I needed to rotate these damned circles. Let's just get this over with. Voila! All that's left is to put the gun back. I should switch my top before going back to the club room. Sorry about the mess earlier, Georgiana.
Not a problem at all, Miss Saint Germain.
Now, where were we?